Christoph from Virtex, it's an absolute pleasure to be chatting to you. I can't wait to talk about new tech. But first, for people who are unaware about Virtex and the company that you started, could you give us a little bit of an elevator pitch about them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're basically bringing live esports events into a virtual environment, and the idea is you can imagine it like a virtual esports stadium. So we're using Unreal Engine 5 to build a really nice, basically spectacular environment where fans can join together. It's all about the community experience. The idea was always to bring people together around their favorite events so that they can share the excitement, cheer together, or be upset together. But just give them a bit more of an opportunity to interact, engage, and also honestly take the content experience around the event when you're not actually at the arena to the next level, and use technology, new media, such as a game engine, also 3D interfaces. So we are also working with VR. Not only, it's also accessible on traditional platforms, but exploring these new mediums and how you can elevate the experience for fans at home, and always trying to bring people together around their favorite events.
So how did the initial idea of getting a virtual esports stadium even start? And in a way, was it an idea before even the technology was available in your mind?
Yeah, so actually I think the founding story really goes back to my co-founder Tim McGuinness purchasing the Oculus Rift, the Oculus developer kit that Palmer Luckey 10 years ago now sold. That really got him into VR. I think I started with VR in 2016. And what we saw was basically that there were a lot of initial applications where you could watch a movie together with others, where you could, VR chat, where you could just hang out with others. And that is a little bit the background story where we realized that this new medium is really ideal for experiencing, for shared experiences with your friends wherever they are in the world. At the same time, Tim was developing a lot of XR and in general game type apps with Unreal Engine. So that's when he realized there's an opportunity to actually build something totally dedicated to the esports community, because he actually already back then had the idea, hey, why can I not watch my favorite events together with my friends in an environment that is as exciting as an actual real arena? And that's when he actually thought he can do something with the tools available. So that's kind of the background story. And then we actually also met at one of ESL's events in 2019. I was actually still on the investment side back then. I was with a venture capital fund, and I was looking into the space, and I was completely convinced that entertainment in general is moving towards 3D. And we started talking, and I just really liked how he completely understood how to deliver this, how to build this, and I thought I could really help. And as I was also completely built into or convinced about this future, it was easy for me to basically see where this could go. And I thought I had the tools on the commercial or the business development side, coming from a fund, to be of help, and him obviously with the abilities to actually build this. So that's how we got started then in 2020. Started the company, and ever since have been fleshing this out. And we're far from done. It's still early days. We're still validating if it is the good experience that we think it can be.
What was the decision to not just, I think when you, to rephrase it a little bit actually, when you actually talk about virtual esports stadium, there are then kind of thoughts about metaverse, blockchain, virtual reality. But you guys decided to stay away a little bit from that and actually make it still a normal platform, right? It's not just virtual reality as well. It's akin to essentially being in a video game in itself, right? Why did you decide to opt to do it that way instead of just going straight into we're going to get a virtual headset on and go full in that sense?
Yeah, it's a very good question, very good point. So we actually did start very much coming from this will be a really cool virtual reality application, but then obviously we realized the audience isn't quite there yet, and what we really need to validate this product and get it off the ground and prove that it is a good experience is accessibility. So we need to start with events that have a high audience appeal, where a lot of fans are excited to experience this together. That's the first events we really need to test this out with, because that's when we can get a share of that audience into the app to see if this is really something they would come back to over and over again. So we knew that accessibility is really key, and that we likely wouldn't be able to go very far if it was just virtual reality. So now it is available as a regular Steam app, and I can even say that we also have a browser version in the works. So we've been partnering with NVIDIA on that side, and their graphics delivery network, which is by now pretty well known, as well as GeForce Now. And that is actually something that we'll be testing as well, to see if that makes a difference in terms of user adoption and if you remove hardware barriers completely. And regarding just the metaverse, let's say, term, I mean, we started before that hype cycle came about. So we, on the one hand, were happy about it, because suddenly it was easier to explain why we thought that 3D environments can be relevant for so much more than just gameplay, and for live entertainment experiences, for social experiences, and that there's an entire generation that is growing up with that, where we were all growing up with text-based communities, basically. An entire generation is already growing up with 3D communities. So that was quite clear, but we still tried to stay away from that, because the core target audience that we were initially going for, they didn't latch onto the metaverse term. If like they've been around and had online multiplayer experiences for so many years that I think we all know that it was a bit strange that then suddenly a lot of people from the outside were selling this to us as something completely new. So that's why we didn't want to jump on that bandwagon, and felt it's better to just stick to what we try to achieve, and not adopt that terminology too soon. I mean, in the sense, I could say it is a metaverse type experience, but I think it always comes with a bit of a flavor, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. A couple of just interesting questions, I think, for people who are unaware about what you can actually do in Virtex. What are some of the features that make it different than if I was to just kind of open up my laptop and watch a League of Legends event on stream? Instead, what would be the difference if I went into Virtex?
So basically, it is obviously a full 3D environment. So a big thing is just the ability to naturally have a conversation in larger crowds, actually larger groups. So if you want to get that event feel, larger crowd feel, you can only do that in a 3D space. Like, you can't hop on a Discord call and have 100 people have a conversation in groups of 5 or 10, right? Like, it's just 1 or 2 people that can talk over each other or with each other at a time, and the rest is listening. So while those are, I'd say, more broadcast media, where it's only like 1 or 2 that can talk at a time and the rest is listening, in a 3D space, it's more a real social interaction where everyone can talk with each other. So that's a big point. Obviously, then the way we bring the content into the experience, we are still heavily using obviously the broadcast. So we're trying to bring as many elements that the viewers today appreciate into the experience, even Twitch chat, for example, and even allowing users to connect their Twitch account so that they can still emote spam from within in the app. But then also just what we showed, for example, for Counter-Strike, together with Skybox, where we are recreating the full game inside the stadium, so you can explore a completely new viewing experience, basically, something that isn't possible even at the real event. You can't sit on bomb site B and observe if the push is successful or not, and that's something that this app can allow you to do together with your friends, while while you see the crowd, while we obviously also try to add a little bit of show elements and game effects to it to just add to that excitement, so that when you have these moments that you feel like you're not just experiencing it yourself, but that you are part of the event, the experience. So I think using the game engine, special effects, animations, it's early days, we're just starting there, but yeah, that's something we'll be using. Also just showing you more data that you're interested in. We can do a lot there because you have infinite real estate, so to say. You're not just limited to the pixels of the video stream. And then obviously, there's an entire social component around it. You got your avatar. We're planning to work with the various teams to obviously give them merch packs, partner with them so that you can really show your passion, who you're a fan of, support your team. So that should also become a revenue opportunity for those brands in the space. And for you, it's basically an opportunity to stand out in the crowd, so to say. We've also built in production tools. So if you are part of the crowd, you might spot yourself across existing channels, or you might even spot yourself on broadcast. So we even had it that some of the operators' broadcast teams connected to the virtual stadium and started to play around with capturing the live virtual audience and showing them on stream. So a lot of events we know don't have a real-world venue, right? In that case, the virtual audience is the only audience that you can really capture. So that is something that we'll be seeing in the next years, that online-only tournaments or productions will play around with that. So fans can actually spot themselves in a virtual crowd. That will be a new type of Twitch chat flexing, I guess, when you're suddenly there in the crowd with your, awesome avatar or items. And then it's just exploring what the users want, honestly. Like, I think there's so much that we can't predict just yet, where we're just honestly open to learn and see from the first events what do users want more of, what are they not really using. Typical early stage product development, where you just gotta work with the partners, with the users, and see what's good, what's not.
Yeah, one final question. I have to talk about the collaboration with Riot Games for Valorant Champions that just recently concluded. How did that integration into Virtex Stadium occur in the first place?
Yeah, so actually an interesting story. Earlier this year, we announced that we are working on the virtual Counter-Strike stadium, right? And that was the main focus for the year. But then we got approached from Riot's broadcast team, pretty much out of the cold and onto our inbox, which was amazing. So the broadcast team, Stefan Richardson, JP Schöpp over at Riot reached out, and we are obviously super happy to hear that they're interested to start working with us. And initially we did a test together around VCT Masters Tokyo, just kind of an internal one to see how does it work. They obviously also are very interested in the full 3D experience that we are doing for Counter-Strike. That is obviously not something that we can pull out of the hat really quickly, and it's also not something that we can do just ourselves alone. There need to be certain requirements on the game side. The games Valorant or League of Legends would have to send us certain data so that we can even do that, and not all games are always prepared for that. So there's some groundwork on the game side that would have to be actually done. Something we're looking into together with Skybox as well. But in the meantime, we still wanted to go ahead and validate some of the other core aspects of the experience. For example, very strongly the social experience of a virtual watch party. So the team was still very interested while we explore how we can get a full 3D experience up and running in the future, to make first steps together and show Valorant Champions in the last weeks as a virtual watch party experience. So it was obviously not, again, the full 3D thing, but what we did was basically show the broadcast in a virtual stadium, fully branded to Valorant Champions, and then target the Valorant Champions community to experience this together. So I think in that case, what really is important, that you kind of know I'm going into this space, and there's other Valorant fans that share that excitement for me. That other Loud fans, other Fnatic fans. We actually had a lot of Fnatic fans in there, which was fun. And you actually had people kind of yell into the mic and add to the atmosphere. So a lot of good learnings there, how to kind of create that buzz, that atmosphere. That's how it came about, and honestly, really appreciate Riot's team here giving us a shot with this. But we're just kind of validating the experience together. There's hopefully more to come, I can say that, and that's where we're at the moment.
Christoph, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you about new technology that's coming into the esports space. Could say it's the next technology. Got to get the plug in, I guess, for the next.
It's honestly with the vision we have of bringing people from all the world together to share the passion for their favorite events. This is the right place to talk about this vision, and Gamers 8, the Saudi Esports Federation, are the ideal also target partners for us to approach and do something with. So it's a great place to be, great event, and awesome that you guys are here, and hopefully we can share how awesome this is.
Perfect, thank you so much.